So in this section, we're going to talk about virtual private networks. So the VPN stands for virtual private network. It allows you to join an outside or external machine or an external network into an Azure network. So a VPN is a private connection, meaning that there is end-to-end encryption between the source, the client, and the network that it's connecting to. The benefit of using a VPN is that you're able to access systems by their private IP address. So as long as those services exist on a virtual network and have private IP addresses, then you're able to use a VPN to connect to them. Now, within Azure, you get three primary ways of setting up a virtual private network. There's the point-to-site VPN, the site-to-site VPN, and ExpressRoute. On screen is an image of a point-to-site VPN and a site-to-site VPN. We can see at the top, we have a single person running a laptop or some other computer, and they want to connect into an Azure virtual network called VNet1, and they use a point-to-site VPN to connect privately in an encrypted fashion into this network. Okay. You can also then set up your site-to-site VPN. It does require hardware, and we'll talk about that in a second, but then you're setting up an entire network, an entire office complex even, to connect to Azure, and they can access those devices that are running in Azure as if they're running on the local network. So both the point-to-site and the site-to-site VPN travel over the public internet, even though it is encrypted end-to-end. It is still using a public internet access. That is both good and bad, right? So you can use a point-to-site VPN from your home computer over your existing, internet that your internet service provider provides you to get access to your office's backend systems. So that's a good thing. Now, using a point-to-site VPN is very simple. It's as simple as installing some software onto your computer and then configuring that software in order to have your, credentials and your certificate so that you can prove who you are to connect to that network. A site-to-site VPN is more complicated. It does require a gateway to be installed as a physical piece of hardware on your side of the connection. So in order to connect your company's network into an Azure network, you do need a gateway on both ends, but the Azure gateway is just a piece of software that you install. Now, ExpressRoute is the most complicated of the three. It is actually a private connection into Azure and does not travel over the public internet. Now, the great thing about ExpressRoute is it's extremely fast, but of course, that's always also expensive. You're going to need to talk to your communications provider to set up this ExpressRoute. So Microsoft has a list of vendors. You're going to have to basically get from your corporate network a high-speed fiber optic connection into a communications provider. Here's a diagram of an ExpressRoute connection. You can see that the customer's premises has obviously public internet access and can access some services over public internet. But the ExpressRoute is in the center. And there's basically three types of connections from your corporate network into Azure. There's what's called public peering, private peering, and Microsoft peering. In actual fact, there's nothing that is publicly peered anymore, so it's really only two, Microsoft peering and private peering. Now, ExpressRoute has this feature called the Premium Add-on, and basically it allows you to, instead of connecting your ExpressRoute just into virtual networks in your local region, you're able to connect with virtual networks all over the world. So if you're a company that's in the United States and you have virtual networks in Europe and you want to have an ExpressRoute connection between your American head office and your European virtual network, then you're going to require the premium add-on in order to get that high-speed connection from America into Europe. Again, it's not just actually the non-premium add-on. It's not just for the local region, but for the entire geographic area. So if you're an American company, you can connect to East US, West US, Central US, East US 2, all of that using a standard ExpressRoute connection. You also get an expansion of the number of virtual networks you connect. So the standard ExpressRoute restricts you from connecting only 10 virtual networks on a single ExpressRoute connection. But if you go with the premium add-on, you can get from 20 to 100 depending on the bandwidth. And we can see here a screenshot of this as it currently stands. Microsoft only allows 10 VNet links from a standard ExpressRoute circuit. And if you have the premium add-on, you get 20, 25, 40, 50, all the way up to 100, depending on the speed of the connection that you've purchased. Now, of course, nothing is free, and ExpressRoute is particularly pricey. They do support speeds from 50 megabits per second to 10 gigabits per second. You're going to pay your ISP. So the connection itself is a private arrangement between yourself and the internet service provider. So there's a fee for that connection. You're also going to pay Microsoft for using ExpressRoute, and on the metered version, you're also going to pay for outbound traffic. Inbound traffic is free. Outbound traffic from Azure to your network costs a bit of money. You can see the pricing for the ExpressRoute standard version. If you choose to pay for traffic, runs from as cheap $55 a month up to $5,000 a month. So again, depending on the speed, you have a range of prices. Now, if you want unlimited data, so let's say you don't want to pay for the outbound data, then those prices jump from $55 to $300 a month, and from $5,000 up to $51,000 a month in terms of ExpressRoute. And remember, there's a premium add-on, and so if you need to have that global connectivity and you need those additional virtual network connections, you're going to go from only $300 a month to $375, or from $51,000 a month to $54,000 a month, again, depending on speed. So again, this is a very pricey option, but it is also the highest speed, most secure option for connecting your local network, your corporate network, into Azure.